We started back in 2002. At the time I was a physiotherapist and Sash was a pharmaceutical rep. Our initial contract was at East Keilor Leisure Centre. The cleaners didn't turn up and Sash was off at the job, and I remember us cleaning it, and it was probably like a 4 or 6 hour job, but it took us like 12, 13 hours. The manager saying to us that it was the cleanest he's ever seen the centre, and I think he offers the contract long term after that, and that was probably the start of Quayclean.
There were times where you come home after cleaning, and I'd do most of the cleaning myself because obviously I had no money to pay staff at that particular time. And then you look in the mirror and say, I've had enough, and then you get up and look again in the mirror and say, I've come so far. Certainly challenging, but what got me through was the grit and determination and understanding that this will take time.
It was really, for us, it was trial and error. Didn't know what business was about or how to run businesses, but one thing that we did do was ensure that our clients were always happy. And if we had to overservice them, we just did that.
And in 2006, there was the Commonwealth Games, which was one of the largest contracts at that particular time.
I was overseas at the time, and we might have had 5 or 6 aquatic centres that we cleaned here in Melbourne. I remember getting a call from Sash.
And he said, you're kidding, there was no chance we'll get that particular event. And funny or not, called him back. There was an interview process. They had contacted me and said, you're part of that interview process.
Got a call from him and said, oh, we've been shortlisted for the Commonwealth Games. You need to come back.
I guess the rest is history, where we've won 2 particular venues, which was the Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre, State Netball Hockey Centre, which we had for 15 years. Along the journey, having a number of blue chip customers like the Opera House or the SCG in the early days, that was a key milestone when we first started, and we were able to grow from there.
Quayclean provide a range of cleaning and waste management and resource recovery services to a wide range of public sectors throughout Australia and public facilities, as well as private education, a lot of government facilities throughout the country, and unique clients such as Star, Marvel and the Sydney Opera House, where particular standards of cleaning are required in waste management. In 2018, the organisation took on one of the largest events in the country at the time, which was the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast. The actual games itself required us to employ some 1,200 staff, delivered to some 11 venues across a period of an area of 100 kilometres of coastline and 500 events during a 14-day period. Those foundations gave the business the strength to be able to take on just about anything in Australia after that.
Since I joined in 2012, we've really grown from employing around 20 or 30 people in the business through to now employing over 5,000 directly employed staff.
And it could, during large event weeks, go up to 7,000 staff.
All fully employed, and a great culture, a great team to work with.
We do large public venues, and stadiums are one of those sectors that we do. We'll have day-to-day teams where they keep the stadium clean throughout the whole week, and then before an event, there's a pre-event team to make sure that it's ready for the event. And then during the event, there's a team that cleans while the patrons are in there. And then once the event's finished, then we also have a post-event team to make sure it's ready for the next game. And sometimes that could be 8-hour turnaround clean before the next game.
Business's commitment around the UN Sustainable Development Goals has really come about wanting to provide a clear legacy for future development in the business. And this is around providing clear development pathways for our staff, gender equality across the business, and focusing on areas such as climate action and responsible consumption. So the way that we procure the products that we use within our business is really focused around the sustainability.
If you look at the AFL Grand Final, there's some 50 tonne of waste that's generated, which is recycled at about an 80–85% rate. So it's front of house, patron facing point of view. It's the infrastructure that we provide to help separate that waste to make sure that we can maximise our diversion from landfill. And at the Australian Open, we have 800 tonne of waste that we manage each year.
Naturally, we want to separate our waste into the best recycling streams as possible. But I guess what we really need to be focusing on now is actually waste reduction. When we look at recycling rates, and a site that we're really proud of some of the work that we've done behind the scenes is the Sydney Opera House. We've worked really hard with all of the key stakeholders on that site to enhance the recycling and waste diversion rates to in excess of 85 to 90% on a regular basis. And this includes working really closely with all of the tenants on site to ensure that we're getting some great results behind the scenes.
Cleaning isn't the most prestigious job to a lot of people, but that presentation when you go to an event, it's very, very important. You know, the customer experience is number one, and we can contribute towards that.
Work hard, don't make excuses, and provide solutions to the customers. Rather than saying we're the biggest and the best, it was more about we're able to solve your problems within that particular industry.